Anime is full of awesome examples of over-the-top characters, ambitious story arcs, and hype fight scenes. That being said, most adventures start from humble beginnings, and the main characters are no different. After all, there's no story more classic than a hero starting from the bottom and reaching for the top. Welcome to DoubleDollars, and today we will be listing down the top 10 anime where the MC starts off weak but becomes overpowered as the story progresses. Before we begin, like always, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below to get your dose of awesome anime lists. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting it off at number 10, the world's strongest disciple.
That way my defensive move becomes an offensive move.
Keiichi is a 16-year-old boy who is physically weak and often finds himself bullied. One day, in a rare burst of bravery, Keiichi decides to stand up to one of the biggest kids in his dojo. He quickly regrets it and starts panicking. But that's when Keiichi's friends, Miu, reveals to him that several martial art masters live and train in her family dojo every day. It is here that Keiichi begins his journey into becoming the world's strongest disciple. While his moveset is, quote, boring, it is incredibly practical, and this master of all style allows him to face off almost any kind of opponent and exploit their weaknesses by using his strong fundamentals. Truly, Keiichi proves Bruce Lee's quote, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Ryuto, for your sake, I will defeat you!
Moving on to number 9, Katekyo Hitman Reborn. Tsunoyoshi Sawada, called Tsuna by his friends, has had a lot of bad luck in his life. He's a complete mess both athletically and academically. And to rub salt in the wound, his own friends call him no good Tsuna. One day, a baby hitman named Reborn informed Tsuna that he is a descendant of one of the most powerful Italian mafia families, and that starting that day, Reborn will be training him to become a hitman through the power of dying will. With his newfound powers, Tsuna can defuse multiple sticks of dynamite thrown at him in seconds, tank through huge rocks being hurled at him, dodge beams faster than the eye can see, and smash the earth with so much force it breaks a cliffside. Tsuna may be weak, but it takes just one strange day to change your entire life. Number 8, Tokyo Ghoul. Kaneki Ken was an ordinary college student. That was until he was attacked by the girl who he liked, who just so happened to be a ghoul. After barely surviving the encounter, his organs was mixed with that of the same ghoul who attacked him, making Kaneki Ken a hybrid. While he did struggle to live as a half ghoul, half human, since he can't eat normal food because it just tastes terrible, there are some upsides. Kaneki's new abilities makes him capable of resisting stab wounds and bend knives that was used to stab him. While poisoned, he's still able to knock down massive foes against walls with one hand. And this isn't even taking into account his kagune, massive tentacles that slice through flesh like butter. He may have started as your typical weakling, but his experiences hardened him into a brutal fighter. Number 7, Parasyte the Maximum.
No!
When a group of aliens mysteriously land in Japan, they start attaching themselves to random people and hijacking their brains and bodies. One of these parasites attempt to do the same to teenager Shinichi Izumi, but the parasite fails and decides to coexist with Shinichi instead. Now the parasite, calling itself Migi, has made Shinichi capable of stopping moving cars in their tracks, breaking knives with only his fingers, and moving fast enough to dodge gunfire. While they were at first a parasitic relationship, Shinichi and Migi came to an understanding and formed more of a symbiotic relationship because they need to work together to prevent other parasites from attacking them.
できるなら逃げてくれ。自分がまず生きること。
Number 6, Black Clover.
諦めないのが俺の魔法だ!
Somewhere in an unremarkable village, there lives a very interesting boy. The boy is incredibly loud, boisterous, and annoying. Every day, he consistently shouts about being the next Wizard King, and one would be forgiven for getting images of a yellowed-haired ninja saying "believe it" in their head. However, there's one key difference. Unlike Naruto, Asta has no hidden demon power inside his body. In a world full of magic, he is somehow the only one who is born without any magic at all. His insane workout regime has turned a talentless boy with no magic into a terrifyingly dense ball of muscle. Oh, and it just so happens he's the most skilled user of the Demon Slayer's sword, which nullifies magic. In a world full of magic users, one could see how this could be considered incredibly overpowered. Number 5, My Hero Academia. Well, you knew he was gonna show up here somewhere on this list. Midoriya is the poster boy for the weakling turned into a strong hero trope for modern shonen anime. After seeing a video of the world's #1 hero, All Might, saving hundreds of civilians from a burning building, Midoriya's love for superheroes started to blossom. And despite his love for superheroes, he had the misfortune of not being born with a quirk, the genetic mutation that gives people their powers. This destroys the young Midoriya and makes him think that his dream of becoming a hero will never happen. During his teens, Midoriya encounters a monster attack, and All Might watches in awe as his powerless child risks his life to save his friend. Midoriya's display of selflessness convinces All Might that Midoriya deserves to be his successor. Number 4, Kumo desu ka? Nani ka? Though her origins and even real name are mysterious, Kumoko has proven herself as one of the best examples of a weak main character, quite literally crawling to the top. Kumoko is a girl who reincarnates as a baby spider inside a massive labyrinth. And though shocked at first, she takes onto the new world surprisingly quick and accepts the RPG elements in stride. This happy-go-lucky attitude helps her deal with the not-so-happy denizens of the labyrinth. In this maze, it's kill or be killed, as Kumoko's familiarity with RPG elements stems from her otaku tendencies, and she spouts several references throughout her adventures. She's very intelligent and uses her versatile webs and skills to overcome more powerful enemies. And with every enemy slain, it gives her more power and resistances. She goes through all of her ordeals alone and has developed personalities in her head to keep her company. That little quirk gives us a hilarious treat of voice actress Yuki Ao talking to herself for a large chunk of the anime. Kumoko is one spider that you don't want to be smacking with a slipper. Number 3, Kill la Kill. Ryuko is a wandering transfer student who visits the infamously brutal Honnoji Academy in search for her father's killer. In her first epic battle against the school, she fails horribly. And after escaping and promising vengeance, Ryuko stumbles upon a sailor uniform that can talk to her. After putting on the uniform, she suddenly gets a huge boost in power. With a vengeance, she returns to the school and starts slicing her way to the top, leaving piles of knocked out and naked bodies in her rage. I'd say not bad for a delinquent orphan. Number 2, One Punch Man. Saitama is the most insane workout success story on this list. Sure, Asta and Deku worked out to insane strength, but they might as well be normal humans against Saitama. Once an unemployed man who is wandering from place to place looking for a job, he finds himself against a giant crab monster that was attempting to kill a very unfortunately faced child. After he manages to defeat the crab monster, he decides to dedicate his life to becoming a hero. With a strict regime of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day, his labor proves their fruit after 3 years and gives birth to the One Punch Man we know today. And finally at number 1, Gurren Lagann.
いいかシモン、忘れんな。お前を信じろ。俺が信じるお前でもない。お前が信じる俺でもない。お前が信じるお前を信じろ。
Simon starts at the literal lowest point in the world, underground, where he lives out a meager existence drilling through rocks. Simon is meek and a bit of a scaredy cat, and he idolizes his older brother, a loudmouth delinquent named Kamina. Kamina lets Simon join his gang known as Team Gurren, and their goal is to reach the surface world. Simon uses a cordial to take control of a small gunman named Lagann, and makes use of its drilling capabilities to beat an attacking gunman, and finally reach the surface world. They eventually run into another gunman named Gurren, and in a hilarious scene, Lagann drills on top of Gurren's head, and we finally get our iconic mech, Gurren Lagann himself. While Gurren Lagann starts as an impressive but otherwise normal mech, a wacky series of events and discovery of spiral power eventually turns it into one of the most powerful beings in anime, the Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Even if all the skies and the star are its enemies, no person can beat Simon and his crew in terms of sheer willpower.